Well. What's going on, beautiful people? How we doing today? How we living? How we feeling? Let me know who I'm hanging out with in the chat today. I see a Dynasty dude, D Macy, our expert countdown, our countdown expert. Words are hard. 113 days until kickoff, which is wild. What's up, Wild Dog? What's up, Nicholson? Packers in the building. We've got Patty. We've got Steven. We've got David. We've got Mike. What's happening, people? I appreciate y'all coming in here and hanging out with me. We do have a real draft for you guys today with the India League. And I got to keep it a buck with y'all, all right? This is my worst team in Dynasty by far. I am not at all proud of this team. This is really not a good team. I'm not excited to show you guys this, but we do have a real draft here to show you that we'll be getting into in less than 4 minutes here. But I appreciate y'all. A lot of conversations about Rashee Rice happening in the chat. I'm seeing you guys asking a lot of questions about that. Look, here's the deal with Rashee Rice. I don't know if you guys remember, this was probably like a couple months ago. I did a stream where I looked at my wide receiver rankings, and I had Rashee Rice down in the 20s. And I just said, you know what? I just don't know if I can trust this guy anymore. Like, I don't know if a franchise is going to give him a long-term bag because of all these mistakes that he's making. And then I started doing my projections for the year, and I said, actually, you know what? I got to be all in on Rice because he's going to smash this year. And now, obviously, he's going to be in jail for the next 30 days while trying to rehab from an injury. And according to Adam Schefter, that obviously wasn't a part of the plan. It's just an absolute mess. Right now, I would lean towards, if you're wanting to know where the action is, as far as like buy, sell, hold, I would lean towards buy, honestly, just because I think he's going to be quite affordable right now. I think a lot of people are going to be willing to move on from him. And as long as you bake something into a deal that kind of limits your risk, then I think he's definitely a player that you should go out there and look at buying. I put up a poll just recently, actually. I put this poll up 24 hours ago. And basically the question was like, hey, choose a package. And it's funny because this came from me sending an offer in one of my Dynasty leagues. And the gentleman who I sent this offer to said, I think Rice is worth more than that. And I said to him, I don't know, honestly, like, you know what? What could be fair is let me just put a poll up, right? Let me put a poll up and see what the general consensus thinks. And right now, I am a little bit shocked to see that 54% of people are buying Garrett Wilson, Daniel Jones in the 206 rather than Rice in a late first. So at the moment when the panic sets in, it does make me lean towards a buy. Here's the thing. The question I'm asking is, how will this change the 2026 season for the Chiefs? With all due respect, I can't for the life of me understand how they would feature any other player outside of Rashee Rice in that offense. Xavier Worthy, I know he was injured last year, but this is not a guy that you give 9 targets a game to. He's not a guy that you funnel, your offense. He's not a slot engine. He's not a outside X dominant type of player. You want to target him 5 times or so a game and stretch the field. Travis Kelce is too old, man. I mean, this is not the same Travis Kelce we're used to seeing. Maybe my guy Jalen Royals finally gets a chance to show what he's capable of. But truthfully, I asked myself 3 questions. First one, I said, okay, will this change anything for week 1? I don't think the answer is yes. I don't think it changes anything. Okay. Now, are the Chiefs going to be good this year? Yes, I think they will, which means I don't think they'll have a chance at a top 10 pick next year to draft some, Cam Coleman, whoever ends up being, right, in the 2027 class. The last question I asked is, does this lower his ability to get a long-term contract? And here's the thing. It's a little bit of a double-edged sword, okay? Because transparently, I don't think there's any NFL team out there that will be willing to pay Rashee Rice what the Chiefs would be willing to pay Rashee Rice. And that's not just because of what's happened off the field. That's also because of what I think he's worth to an offense in a different system versus how the Chiefs deploy him. And that makes me feel like he's probably in Kansas City long term. Like, I don't think this is a scenario where it's like, oh, are the Chiefs really going to pay him, you know, $40 million a year? I don't think that's the question we're asking. It's supply and demand at the wide receiver position. I don't think someone's going to give him a bag, right? So, personally, I kind of lean on the side of him being a buy. I still could see him in Kansas City long term. You know, is he a knucklehead? Yes. Was it a silly decision? It's hard to say because obviously weed is used medicinally for injuries and recovery, and it's a little bit silly in America because half the states it's legal, half the states it's not. Some cops care about it, some cops don't. A lot of cops smoke weed, right? I personally don't smoke weed, but I'm just saying, like, it's not like it's not like the guy is out on a bender snorting cocaine, right? 3 nights a week. Okay, this is a very common practice in modern day, and even the NFL doesn't really hold anyone accountable for smoking marijuana at all, right? So I personally don't think it changes all that much for me. Now, there's more risk baked in. I've moved him down my redraft rankings. I moved him down my dynasty rankings, and, you know, this is where I currently stand. Obviously, everybody's going to have a different opinion. But at the moment, I still have him right around wide receiver 16, right? I still have him right in that range where if he is ready to go week 1, I still think he can be a 17, 18 point per game scorer. And honestly, if we are at week 8 of the NFL season and Rice is the feature of the Chiefs offense, people are going to quickly forget. They're going to quickly forget. They'll be willing to pay up for him. So it's a weird situation, and I'm not giving him a pass like Kirk is here saying, if you know you are on probation and one of the terms is not to, you know, test for marijuana, it's your responsibility not to do so. Again, we're all on the same page. It's a knucklehead move. He shouldn't have done what he did. But again, I'm trying to be the voice of reason here, okay? I'm trying to think logically through the situation rather than just completely panicking and be like, oh my God, you can't have Rashee Rice on your team. But I think it's worth going out there and sending offers. Honestly, I really do. I think you should have listened to Stephen A. Smith. Stay off the weed. If anybody knows.
Don't listen. Stay off the weed. It's stay off the weed. And you can't.
Stay off the weed, Rice. But I also put this poll over to Twitter, and Twitter was very much like, hey, I'd be willing to sell Rice for this. So to me, if this is like the price point, if this is around what you would have to, I think, again, you're baking in the fact that you get a first there. Like, these are the type of deals. Like, no, I'm not going to send Rice straight up for Pickens. That's silly, right? But these 2-for-2 deals, I think, are worth exploring. Guys, appreciate you so much for being here, hanging out with me at the end of the draft. We will get some trade questions done. We'll get some team reviews done. But I do have a real draft for you today here with the India League. If you're just here and you're joining, I am going to be doing a giveaway today. I will be giving away a live team playbook. So if you would like to win a live team playbook on today's stream, the steps to enter are very simple. All you have to do is simply, number 1, like the stream, and number 2, type today's code word, and the code word is Perseus. All right, that is the code word. Now, the code word is Perseus because it is our latest league that will be drafting this Monday night. If you guys don't know, landleagues.com is all about, you know, creating good quality dynasty leagues that you can invest in long term. It's a great source, but obviously it's mainly a perk for promo code LAND annual Mother Flocker members. Anybody who becomes a brand new LAND annual Mother Flocker member gets a guaranteed spot into a league. They get fast tracked into a league, and then the rest of the spots will be raffled off to already existing members, right? So if that at all interests you, if you want to be drafting with us in a real league in a startup draft this coming Monday night, me and Sammy will be on the stream. Maybe we'll draft for one of you guys. Then you can check out the link in the pinned comment if you would like to be involved. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into this real rookie draft. This is one of my least favorite teams. You know, again, transparently, it's not a team that I'm all that proud of. It is my worst team in Dynasty by far. I'll show you guys here in a second. But we will be deploying the land method. A lot of you guys know the land method by now. There will be 3 minutes on the clock in the first 2 rounds, 1.5 minutes in the third and fourth round. L stands for live, right? This is not a slow draft. It's a live draft. It's happening in real time. A stands for action. Everybody gets 1 trade window. You can only call your trade window when you're on the clock. That then sparks a 5-minute timer, which then begins the negotiation process, where essentially it's a one-time the entire year where anybody can bet on or trade for the asset that you have up for grabs, right? And obviously we will get this draft started here in 3, 2, 1. To any contenders out there in this league, I am willing to sell my competitive assets. I hate this team so much. I really hate this team so much. But this is what we've got here. We've got Justin Herbert, Travion Henderson, Josh Jacobs, Jameson, Olave. No one really to mention at tight end, unfortunately. We've got Roma Dunze, Garrett Wilson on the bench, Burden, Ingram, Daniel Jones, Benson, Travis Hunter. And I recently made a trade where I added a 27 first from Dynasty Dude. And that was the trade that sparked some controversy over on X, which was this one. I essentially sent away Jordan Love straight up for Luther Burden. And for me, I've been pretty open about how I felt that Jordan Love was overrated, that I feel like he is perceived in a light that I don't really understand in the Dynasty streets. Whereas on the opposite side, I would rather take a shot on Burden kind of becoming the slot engine in Ben Johnson's offense. And I've got nothing really to lose with this roster. I can acknowledge that Love is probably the safer asset. But yeah, that is a deal that we went out and made. Okay, so Jeremiah Love off the board at the 204. No surprise there. Oh, sorry, at the 101. I lost my mind there for a second. And yeah, I made some moves last year to go all in. I pretty much sent that 106 away. And it was a combination of me getting Garrett Wilson, Alvin Kamara. And obviously that didn't work out well because Kamara is toast. And Garrett Wilson wasn't able to stay healthy. So, yeah. D. Macy says, Perseus is a northern constellation named after the Greek hero Perseus, and it contains one of the most famous variable stars in the skies. Hey, shout out to our research expert, our league name research expert here, D. Macy. Just gathering rolls like infinity stones. You love to see it. Shooty's on the clock here. And Shooty's got a lot of action in this draft, between the 102 to the 107, and a lot of seconds, a lot of thirds there. I'm seeing a lot of legal jargon used in the chat right now, and all I will say is I am not at all. I'm getting tagged. Okay. Let's see. I'm getting tagged. Honestly, I'm going to accept this trade. Can you call your trade window, Shooty? I think we should negotiate this. I'm close, but can you call your trade window and we can negotiate this? Okay, Shooty's going to call his trade window, and I'm going to send you a counter, but I'm close. Okay, let me send you a counter here, Shooty. Sorry, guys. I'm just going to negotiate a deal right now. That's why I'm not talking to you in the chat. Sorry, y'all. I'm just getting some stuff done. Mike says, why do you make so many trades? Okay. No, Shooty, I need that third as well. We talked about this. Giving you a discount already on Danny. Okay. I got a deal done. Did not expect to be on the clock. Can anybody, I'm just going to ask, at all, is anyone interested in trading up to the 102 or sending future picks or yeah, just any interest? Let me put myself back on the clock. Sorry. I am going to draft Carnell Tate if there's no interest here. So if you want Carnell Tate and you want to negotiate, then now's a great time for us to have a conversation. Either way, I'm going to draft him here. I was thinking about using my trade window, but I'm going to go ahead and make the pick. And if anybody wanted to trade up like Reb, Ravenger, Riskit, or Shane Anderson or Shanderson, we can have a conversation. I'm willing to tear back. I'm willing to have a lot of conversations as my team is really bad. Okay, so really kind of committing to this future build. The trade that ended up getting done, I'll show you guys, is I got the 102, 302, and the 212, sent away Garrett Wilson and Daniel Jones. And for me, a team that is just completely devoid of good assets, not even close to ready to compete, I think I probably sold Daniel Jones a little too cheap here. But I'm willing to take upside swings. Like, I'm willing to kind of add a couple, you know, seconds, thirds here and just grab some guys that I like and see what sort of outcomes there could be. It's just not a good team, and I can take on some risk there. So, Carnell Tate, welcome aboard. Reb, I'll send you something. Let's see. See, I can't wrap my head around, and this is not me being mean, Mano, but I get these type of questions so often, I just really can't really wrap my head around it. I'm so confused by the question itself. I'll explain in a second, but let me give you another one, Rav. So, like, there's this idea out there for some reason. I guess I play Dynasty differently in the trade market than other people do. I've never let the way I approach a trade and how I value an asset be determined by what a previous trade has gone down for. Like, if you guys do, then, like, fair enough, but I've never approached it that way. You know, if I see a trade go down in the chat and someone gets robbed, I'm not going to the guy who got the great deal and say, oh, I'll pay you slightly better, and then expect that deal to get done. That just doesn't, like, logically make any sense to me. I don't think that operates, that's the way any of us operate. But more importantly, Garrett Wilson was moved for the 102. Okay, so someone valued Garrett Wilson for the 102 here. How does that equate to now me not being able to shop that pick, when in reality, there are 11 people in this league who will value just Garrett Wilson differently, who will value Carnell Tate differently? I don't, like, it doesn't logically add up why people ask that question to me, but does that shed any light to, like, does that make sense? Again, I'm not trying to roast anybody. I just don't really understand. Yeah, he says just you threw the pick out there immediately after you got it. I mean, I don't know why. Truly, like, why is that surprising though? I've very openly told the league I'm a clear rebuilder. My team is not good. I'm open to trading contending assets. I'm open to making deals. I'm not married to any player. Like, I don't go into any rookie draft and think I have to have this player. I will always negotiate any deal that's available to me. I honestly, like, my mind can't comprehend the idea that you have one plan and when you get one pick, that means your plans are done and you can't continue to negotiate. Yeah, I just don't understand it. Risk it for a brisket. I'll send you an offer here. Anyway, let me know if that makes sense. I don't know. I might be better suited with Shane. Man, you is dead just commented in this league and said Zach's like Leo DiCaprio for Ohio State wide receivers. He only likes them if they're under 25. That's just wild. Shane, let me send you something. Okay, Shane's calling his trade window. I love that. Shane, is there a deal out there for us? Is there a deal out there for us? Let's chat. Let's see. What do you got, Shane? Let me send you something here. Oh, nice team, Shane. Not bad. Not bad. I think there may be one thing missing from this team, Shane. I think I can help you, and I think you can help me. We might be great trade partners, Shane. I actually think I genuinely think we could help each other. I'm looking at this thing like, oh, this actually works. Okay. How do I just get there in value for myself though? Let's see. I mean, I think this is probably like the fairest deal I've been able to send today. Okay, does anybody have any questions about what I just talked about? Because I think there is some... I truthfully think if some people are operating that way, and again, this is not meant to be disrespectful, but if you're out there operating in a way where, oh, well, I made this trade now and the value is set on this player... I genuinely think you're leaving value on the table. I don't think you're actually trading well in your dynasty leagues if that's how you're operating. Like, I don't have any dynasty league I'm in where a trade is made. Sorry, I'm getting a counter here. Shane, I think we're close here. I can't give you my second next year, dude. I'm going to be really bad. What about this? Okay. Mason here says, what percentage of people do you think have done their rookie draft so far? To me, based off the reviews that we are getting, it feels like 60%. How about you guys? I don't think there's any big dynasty player yet who hasn't done a single rookie draft, but there probably are a good portion of people who still have drafts left. Shane, that's not happening. No. Come on, that's not reasonable. That's just not reasonable. I'm sorry. I'm not giving you my first when I'm clearly a terrible team. Okay. A trade has been completed, and I am on the clock. Honestly, I didn't know what to expect from today's draft. I only had the 206 coming in. And I did not expect to have a bunch of action going on here, but we have the 102, we have the 106, and look, I don't think I'm going to have a better chance to use a trade window now. So, despite some people thinking that this is, like, useless, I have been in so many situations in the past where I've traded for a pick, Then I put it on the block, and there's been an offer out there that better suited my team than maybe what the offer that Shane got earlier. So I'm actually going to take a second here, and I'm going to call my trade window. So if you are interested in 106, I'm open to hearing all offers, including picks for 2027, including move downs. What I'm not at all interested in is veterans, okay? The deal that I just got done, by the way, is Shane looks like a contender. I had a contending running back I was looking to sell. That running back is Josh Jacobs. So we sent him Josh Jacobs and the 206. I got back the 106. Originally, I was trying to get his 27 first, but and then send him like the 102 in a different type of deal. But this ended up working out really well for my team, which again, I'm basically just trying to tear down to the studs at this point. And fortunately for me, it's working out well so far. And it's also suiting other teams as well. Obviously, I don't think it's any surprise. I know it's code cinnamon, but I don't think it's any surprise. I will be taking Makai Lemon here for sure. If there's no deal that ends up getting made. Okay. I appreciate you, Dak. I love it. Dak always super chats. I should say this. When Dak super chats, it's always mentioning the Cowboys. And I'm like, you know what? That's okay. Okay, we're getting some trade offers rolling through. Let's have a gaze. By the way, that's an Australian terminology. If you want to surprise like your partner or your friends or your family, you know. Oof. That's a rough one. Yeah, I gotta be honest. I'm gonna have to, at minimum, get that pick, Reb. I see a huge drop-off after the 106 in this class, so I guess I should have prefaced by letting everybody know if you're going to send an offer, it's going to have to be significant for me to move down any further in this draft. Sorry, guys. Just looking at all options here. Okay. I'm probably going to just grab Makai Lemon here. Let me just open one more door. I'm going to open one more door. I'm just going to see. And my trade window's expired, so I'm going to put myself back on the clock. And we've got 2 minutes here. There's 2 people I'm talking to. I just want to make sure I'm not leaving anything on the table. Let me see. Okay. Just not waste anyone's time, you know, to the people I'm talking to, we can still have conversations after this, but I'll grab Makai Lemon off the board here. Honestly, not opposed to just kind of riding this out with Makai. I'm honestly very happy with how this has all gone so far, and kind of surprised. Didn't expect to be having any action until the 206, which was the only pick I had coming into the draft. But I like that we're getting off a lot of these veterans. Well, Garrett Wilson, hard to really call him a veteran necessarily, right? Yeah. I would really appreciate no conversation about NBA, and I'm going to tell you guys why, because my favorite thing in the world is watching Thunder games, and I can't watch them while I'm streaming. So what I do is I go back and watch them. So I would please, if we have moderators out there as well, please, I'm begging you, the only comments that you can ever delete are anything that would spoil the game. So if that's okay, if I can ask that, guys, I love you all, and I know you want to hear from me, but this is like the most important time of the year for me as a fan. And obviously I want to watch them live, but I also want to be with you guys here and make sure we get some fun streams happening. So in order for me to sacrifice that, I have to watch the games back on replay. So would really, really appreciate if we don't have any conversations in the chat about it, specifically when it actually begins. And any moderators, I would greatly appreciate you guys deleting any of those comments. Why not both? Because that's just not possible for me, man. I can't do a live stream and actually care about anything that's happening on stream and watch the game at the same time. Like, that's not how I watch the Thunder. That's how I watch NBA basketball. Like, if we did a stream and I was trying to do both, I would do nothing but watch the game for 3 hours or however long it took. So that's just physically, it's not possible. I promise you. Okay, I've seen so many of you guys in the chat, which is awesome. Let me try and catch up with some of you, and see some of these conversations that are happening here. A lot of great conversations are happening. Yeah, Steven, I think this is a great explanation, right? I'm always going to trade if the fit is there. You know, I'm the type of person where I will make 4 trades, and every trade has the same goal in mind, but every trade pushes me further towards whatever goal I have. I'm not the type of person who's like, okay, I made this trade, don't send me offers, guys, or I'm not interested in having conversations. And yeah, this is perfect. Steven says, I think Zach was perfectly happy to take Tate. But if there's a trade to be had, Zach is the trade Thirstmeister, which is true. Maverick says, what do you do when you really suspect moves happen in your league? Are you saying collusion? Like collusion moves? He says, just had someone trade Sadiq straight up for Blake Corum a tight end premium. Look, that's a tough one. But honestly, you can't penalize the person who made the trade for stupidity. You can only penalize people for collusion. So unless you can prove collusion, I don't think there's much that you can do actionably there. I'd be curious to hear if the chat has a different opinion, but that would be mine. So, yeah, we don't... I never reverse a trade in any league that I look at and I say, well, one guy clearly won. No, I've only ever reversed one trade in a league as a commissioner, and I commission a lot of leagues. And the reason I reversed that trade is because it was in a home league. My throat is destroyed, so I apologize for the throat lozenge I'm about to put in. And in that home league, my friend, after he made this trade, texted me and said, hey, sorry, I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to help the guy out. And I said, okay, so you made the trade to help the other guy? He said, yes. I said, okay, well, you might not understand this, bud, but that's what we call collusion. So, yeah, you can't reverse trades due to stupidity. That's not, you know. CB says, why is Zach's throat's always destroyed? They call me the throat goat. Pause. But, okay, so I've had this sickness. You guys have maybe remembered it like a week or two ago. And it has lingered for so long. But part of the reason I'm getting sick is because during the draft season, you're constantly streaming, you're constantly talking, you're constantly recording content, and it gets to your throat, right? Like it ultimately really kind of gets to me at least. So yeah. Steven says, Zach skipping the game for us, you the real MVP. That's very kind, Steven. Very kind. Oh, whoa. Hey. Whoa. We just had Denzel Boston come off the board, ladies and gentlemen. Our first surprise of the day. Hey, what's up, neighbors? Hey, I have some friends from Brisbane. I think I'm actually going to spend some time in Melbourne, which I know it's not the same, but I'm in Sydney, so yes. This is a fun stream. I forgot to talk about it because I was so kind of deep into trading, but we are doing a giveaway today. And if you'd like to enter to win a live team playbook, it's very simple. All you have to do, step 1 is to like the stream, and step 2 is to type our code word, which today the code word is Perseus, which is the name of the next league that we will do for landleagues.com. These are real leagues that our members are a part of. If you become a brand new member, you get fast-tracked right into that league. And, you know, you get a guaranteed spot for the draft happening on Monday. If you are already a member and you've been in the league, then you can still enter the drawing, and any remaining spots get kind of drawn out to people. Jared, man, Billy, what's up, brother? What's happening? Patty says, don't dodge my question. What was the question? Sorry. What did I miss? I mean, what do you mean? I didn't even see a question from you anywhere. Billy's living the dream. He says, good to hear, man. I hope you and Ashley and the family are well. As it looks like Jared checked into the draft, took Jeremiah Love, and then set his cue. So, Man United is dead. I'm going to send you something. I'm going to send you something here, brother. Okay, Man United is calling his trade window here. So now he has 5 minutes to field all offers and get some negotiations going. Trying to figure out what I send you. Man United says tankers trading with tankers rarely goes well. It looks like we're both trying to hit the reset button here. Yeah, I just don't know what to send you. Send me if there's something that interests you. You can let me know, but I'm not gonna send future first or anything for this pick. But anyway. Howdy says Brisbane much warmer than Melbourne. Yes, that's true. I've been to Melbourne before. I live in Sydney, by the way. Howdy neighbors. I don't know if you know that, but live in Sydney. Been to Melbourne before. I'm thinking about going to Melbourne in June, just for a week with the missus. And obviously we'll be there for the game. I am thinking about streaming. What do you guys think about this idea? Okay, so week 1 NFL season. Week 1 NFL season. I am going to the Melbourne game in Australia. And it'll be the first NFL game in Australia. I'm thinking about bringing like a camera and an internet pack with me and roaming the streets before the game, or like roaming the outside before the game and like asking people questions. I don't know. Just thought that could be funny. Sydney is so expensive. It sucks. Yes, Michael, she is Australian, mate. She's Australian. She's Australian, you dog. But yeah. Yeah, Man United, I don't think we're gonna get a deal done there. I just don't think either of us are going to want to make the other team in a better position to get Jeremiah Smith, really. What's your team look like, Man United? What's your team look like? You've got Patrick, Jordan, Tootin, Zay, and you'll add some players here. Wow, you have the next 3 picks in a row. Who won the comp pick in this league? Let's see. Who won that comp pick? The comp pick won by Risk It for a Brisket. Let me let him know. Oh yeah, Australians are for the most part quite friendly. Neighbor says, do it. Wear some Fantasyland merch. I'm sure people will recognize you. Oh, that's awesome. Probably won't wear my own merch though. I don't know why. Like, I have this weird thing. It's probably more of a me thing than anything. I feel like it's strange for me to wear merch of me. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I'm not saying anybody who wears their own merch is wrong or, you know, is weird or anything. I have a difficult time for some reason with the idea of me wearing my own merch, and then I just feel like I'm going around telling people like, yeah, you know, I do something online. You know, I don't know. I got to put you back on the clock, Man United. Maybe it's, yeah, there's some mental block for me there. Yeah, I get that, Jonathan. I get that. Or I could just wear the costume suit like Ryoza. All right. I'm not calling out Mason, honestly. I'm not calling out Mason. Big baller brand, yeah. That would be hilarious. Imagine I told you guys next week, hey guys, got a really fun announcement. I've officially signed to Big Baller Brand. And I promote them in every video. How funny would that be? I think that would be kind of funny. Obviously, I would never do that, but... Look, Boss at the 109 was aggressive from Dynasty dude there, yeah. But he's got his own convictions. I can respect it. Certainly aggressive, but I respect it. To be fair, there is no Titan Premium here, so... I mean, I probably still would have gone Sadiq there, but I can understand. Man, this has worked a treat for Man United, man. What an absolute beautiful outcome for him. Simpson Coleman, who is featured on the thumbnail, and he's got another chance to make a fun pick here. I think he's probably very pleased. All right, so what do we got with this squad right now? We added Carnell Tate. We added Makai Lemon. We're going to look at Herbert with not an RB2 in sight, which I don't mind. This team's... I want this team to suck right now. We've got Jamo, Alave, Adunze, Burden. I like that core. I think I'm building around these receivers for sure. Travis Hunter, Burden, Adunze, Alave, Jamo, Tate, Lemon. That's a solid 7 to build around as we try to be less ass. Not this year, but hopefully 2027. I said, maybe we don't suck. My team name 2 years ago was We Suck. 1 year ago was maybe we don't suck because I thought we could be competitive. Unfortunately, Alvin Kamara completely shit the bed and fell off a cliff. A meetup could be fun. Yeah, I did think about that. I was wondering, like, do we have enough Australians? I know we've got some, but do you have enough Australians to do like a meetup in Melbourne before the game? Or yeah, it's a Maybe. We might. Yes. Chris says, do you prefer taking Tate, Tyson, Lemon over taking Mendoza? I have them all in the same tier, which is why I'm pretty consistently looking at trades and seeing what it would look like to tier down. So I would prefer someone to make the decisions for me. But if I'm at the 102, I have taken Tate. I have 2 102s this year. I've taken Tate every time. As Eli Stowers off the board. That's a really fun haul for Man U there. That's a fun little Simpson, Coleman, Stowers 3-piece. I like it a lot. Exactly, Tiny Goose. Jonathan's comment I can't speak on because it would commit code cinnamon. You know, I can't commit code cinnamon. Gatorade H2O. That's an all-time great. Comp pick is back into the second, so it'll be the 213. What kind of questions would I ask him, Melbourne? Yeah, I guess I would need to really plan that out well. I don't want to just go wing it. I want to ask like really good questions. I could also do like trivia where I have people like answer questions for $1 or something. I don't know. I also thought it could be worth just setting up a stream and like streaming with you guys, but having the atmosphere of the stadium around us. You know, if I was to go live and I don't know. At that point of the year, if I was going live, I'd be answering like start-sit questions and trade questions and stuff. So like I don't hate the idea of just doing that with the atmosphere kind of all around us. But I think it's worth, in some way, shape, or form, kind of showing you guys what it's like here. I love trivia. I'm not good at it, but I love trivia. I've been thinking about for a while starting a trivia game. Yeah, like yeah, I love trivia. Again, like I don't know why people think I'm good at it. I am not good at trivia, but I love it. Okay, Shooty about to make a pick here. He goes Jeremy Bernard as Reb is up with Tyson and Cooper. Yeah, that's fair, Dub G. That's actually a fair reply. Imagine I was in the streets being like, all right, I'm giving away a team playbook. And they're like, I don't know what that is. Yeah, that would be fun, Howdy. That would be fun. Maybe I can see what I can cook up here. BM says, Zach, what can I get for Josh Allen? I was offered a 27 first, second, third, and Anthony Richardson. I gotta be honest with you, dude, that's the worst offer I've heard for Josh Allen in a long time. If that's super flex league, that's like almost like, not even almost, that's like a very disrespectful offer. If it's one quarterback, then there's a counter there that you can make. If it's super flex, then I don't see how you guys come to a agreement based on that valuation by whoever sent you that offer, because that's pretty rough. Fint says I got Mendoza at the 205 in Superflex. Jeez. That's wild. Chris Bell off the board at the 204. Henry says, people last year thought it was a drop-off to go from Harvey or Caleb Johnson to Scadaboo or Tootin, and look at it now. I think it's hard comparing like one class to another, and specifically looking at the hits and the misses. Last year's class, the 202 was probably more valuable than the 107, so like, I understand the idea overall, but that's a tough one to back long term. All right, so Bell off the board, Surratt off the board, Singleton off the board at the 206 there to Shanderson, who's got another pick coming up at the 209. Jacoby Lane off the board here at the 207. I really like Jacoby Lane. I was always confused by, like, when I was covering Jacoby Lane, I kept mentioning that I feel like he's a project prospect, really raw. I honestly thought Lane would go back to USC. I was shocked that he declared. I just felt like he really had a chance to kind of be the guy at USC this year. And there was a lot of improvement that was still needed. But I'm more surprised by the amount of people who push back on that in the comment section. They're like, you don't know ball. He's ready to contribute right now. I'm like, okay. All right. What's up, Zom? I love it. Love it. Great semantics so far. What's the earliest I've seen Chris Bell go? Earliest I've seen Chris Bell go. I think we saw him go at the 110 at one point. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was a 110. BM says, I countered with the picks plus Shuck and Harvey. That is not a fair offer for Josh Allen. It's still underselling Josh Allen. BM, again, I asked earlier, is it super flex or one quarterback? Because that is an important distinction here. Yeah, see, Steven, I mean, I was surprised, yeah. Although, just so you guys know, on the Land League site, there's a lot of different features there, right? Obviously, you can enter a Land League. We've talked about that. You can enter a drawing. We've also got Real Draft ADP. Now, this Real Draft ADP is from all of our Dynasty startups. You can see both post-draft and pre-draft. However, we've also got Real Draft ADP for all the drafts except for this one that you are watching now, all the real drafts that have happened on live stream. So it's a pretty helpful resource, honestly. Mendoza moves a lot. And you've also got a lot of public leagues out there where people are looking to fill orphans or start new leagues and find quality members. You can see them marked out as if they are land member, if they're going through league safe, what area they're in, how you can find them on Discord. You can also submit if you want to fill a league out or an orphan spot out. So it's a great resource. As we have Lane, Stribling, Fields, and Branch off the board here. I am about to make a pick. Okay, Kalen Black. Okay, I'm gonna try and play the odds here. We're gonna draft Max Clare. I need to pause now. Because we have a comp pick now, and risk it for the biscuit. gets to make a comp pick. And essentially, guys, the way LAN leagues work, and you can adopt this, you don't have to. There are plenty of people who leave comments and they're like, stop rewarding losers, right? I think if the 213 is that important in your league, then I don't know. I think it's a small little way for the people who are not in the actual playoffs to have fun and to play for something. So obviously the top 6 players, they battle it out for the championship. The bottom 6 players get put in a consolation bracket. And essentially the way it works is whoever wins that consolation bracket, they get awarded what we call the comp pick, which is essentially the 213. And you can't manually add it to the board, but what will happen is if you want to include this in your leagues, the commissioner will just need to pause the draft, let the person select a player. With commissioner tools, they'll be able to manually add that player on the back end to the team. And then once everybody just refreshes their pages, the player will no longer be available in ADP. I love the comp pick idea. I know there's plenty of people who don't. That's fine. We've got a lot of people who have adopted it for their own leagues as well. I think it's a really fun addition. Gives people something to play for. It's not like it's not a pick that's going to ever, make or break a league, but it's fun. It's the people who might not be involved previously now have a good reason to be involved. And Skylar Bell is the comp pick. So once we refresh the board, he'll no longer be available here. And Dynasty Dude is up on the clock. And this has worked out a treat for me. Okay, as Adam Randall comes off the board, this is perfect. I'm going to grab Carson Beck. I originally was wanting to draft Beck or somebody else at the 212. However, I do like Max Clare. I haven't been able to draft him at all yet. And my tight end room is terrible in this league. He's the perfect, taxi squad ad for me. And then because there were 2 guys at a certain position I liked, I was willing to wait on that other position. Man, this has gone great. Yeah, John, look, it's really just betting on the player. I love Max Clare as a player. I love him as a prospect. This idea that like Tyler Higbee and Colby Parkinson would stop Max Clare or Terrence Ferguson from breaking out if they're going to be great players, I don't necessarily agree with. Yes, it's frustrating that there are so many tight ends, but you're in an offense that features a lot of tight ends anyway. Ultimately, if you like Clare, if you like Terrence Ferguson, then I don't think the fact that Higbee and Parkinson are there should stop you from investing in those guys at a very reasonable price too. That's the thing. Like, it's not even expensive to go out there and try and add those guys. Ted Hirsch is a really good pick at the 303. I was going to draft him personally if I didn't go quarterback there. As Emmett Johnson off the board. Yeah, Wild Dog. We've got a lot of people who have added it to their leagues, the comp pick idea, and yeah. BM, by the way, said it was a Superflex league. I promise you, the guy, BM, you are not selling Josh Allen for enough. Okay? Tyler Shuck, Harvey, and a first is not enough. I know you said there was a second and third there as well. Who cares? Not even close to enough, man. Wow. Okay. Did not expect to be in this position. But at the 212, the two players I was considering drafting if I didn't go Max Clare was Carson Beck and Drew Aller. And this could not have gone any better. I wanted to grab one of those quarterbacks, really just throw the upside dart at the board. And man, this draft went as good as it possibly could have gone. I am really, really happy with the results here. We came into the draft with just the 206 and the 306. We walk away losing Garrett Wilson and Josh Jacobs, but gaining Tate, Lemon, Clare, Beck, Aller. I like it. I like it a lot. And I'll tell you what else. My cheat sheet, my interactive cheat sheet tool certainly likes it as well. The tool that I made, which, yeah, I use my own tools. Of course I do. You guys know this. But the tool that I made, breaking news, with my own rankings that I'm following, likes my draft. Who would have thought? I made sure not to show any of my rankings down here because I didn't want to code cinnamon all over the place, but yeah. I guess just like double confirmation bias for me, maybe. Okay, so after Drew Aller comes off the board, we do get Mike Washington, Justin Jolie. Man, there's a faller here for sure. Oh, to be fair, I also gave up Daniel Jones. Sorry, I should have said, I forgot to say Daniel Jones, but add Daniel Jones to those assets that I moved. Josh says he uses his tool in the shower. Incredible. Yep, I like taking the shot there in round 3. It's weird because I think this is the first, you know what? I don't even need to say I think. Let's go to landleagues.com. Let's go to ADP. I don't think there's been another draft where Aller and Beck have both fallen to the 3rd round. On average, Aller has a average pick of the 209. He's typically 21st off the board in these leagues. He's gone as high as 15. Okay, so there's been one draft where he did not go in the 2nd round outside of today. That was in the Hotel League on May 18th. How about Carson Beck? For Beck, there was one draft where he fell like a rock in the Echo League, and then one draft where he got taken 25th overall. So I guess it's not crazy, but I'm happy with the outcome, honestly. Yeah. Josh says Aller should go up with A-Rod retiring next year. He did, well, I don't know where the report was from, but we did see a report that Aaron Rodgers is retiring after this year. So this is his last hurrah. I can't see a scenario in which Drew Aller isn't starting next year because the Steelers are not a bad enough team, especially with Rodgers under helm, to not at least win like 8 games. I just don't see how the Steelers are in a position to draft one of the top quarterbacks next year, which really makes me think that Aller has an entire year to learn behind Aaron Rodgers. At other positions, that might not matter. At quarterback, it definitely does. And, you know, I'm willing to wait on that. Okay, finally, Chris Brazzell off the board I was watching him drop and thought, man, do I get into this class again? Do I trade up? I already have enough stock of this class. But Chris Brazzell, in my opinion, a big faller here. Great value. My 27th ranked player, which would make him, what, like the 303 if we include the comp pick. So I like the value there a lot. Yeah, Will Howard has a shot too, for sure. But I don't think, yeah, if you're looking for the toolsy guy, the upside, everybody wants to find the next Josh Allen, which he's not going to be. But this is the Steelers' version of doing what the Colts did with Anthony Richardson, but instead of doing it top 10, they did it way later. And I know that they're not the same athletes, but from the experimental prospect perspective, right? I forgot to change the clock to 1.5 minutes, so let me do that. Let me change the clock to 1.5 minutes. Sorry, guys. Sleeper's a little bit laggy today as well. Like the Damon Claiborne pick. I like me some Damon Claiborne. Big fan of his. Right after this draft concludes, we will be doing a giveaway. I'll first go into some trade questions, but this is one of your last chances to enter the giveaway to win a live team playbook. And all you have to do to enter is simply like the stream and then type today's code word, which is Perseus, which is the next land league that we are drafting in. If you'd like to be a part of a community land dynasty startup league, startup draft, I host them every single Monday. There's a brand new draft happening, and every single Monday, there's another one that you can sign up for. Right now, that latest league is the Perseus League, excuse me. And all you have to do to enter is simply become a promo code LAND annual mother flock. Remember, that's the best way to enter into a league. Got to be a member. We've got a couple people who've been signed up this week to be a part of the league, which we love to see. But yeah, check out the link in the pinned comment there on the chat and let me know if you have any questions. But obviously, all of our new members get fast tracked. You automatically get into a league, which is fun. Let me know if you have any questions. All right, Eli Raridon off the board. Love the Caleb Douglas pick, man. Love it. If Drew Aller wasn't off the board at the 306, I probably would have drafted Caleb Douglas. I like the pick a lot. Raridon's a fun one, too. When, you kind of look at the future of what Hunter Henry's career could look like. Yeah, look, I wasn't saying Anthony Richardson is like a one-size-fits-all for Drew Aller, but Drew Aller, even though he's had a lot of experience in college, is still very much a project. While he has a lot to work on, he's nowhere near his final form of what he could become with all the tools that he's got. I mean, it is rare to see that sort of arm strength on that body and that athleticism. So, yeah, not certainly Richardson was the funner lottery, the more fun lottery ticket. Funner is not a word, I know that. But, yeah. Ravenger here is going to take Oscar Delp off the board and now risk it for a brisket, who has so far selected Jadarian Price, Elijah Surratt, and Chris Brazzell. I wonder, Shane, Would you have selected Jadarian Price at the 106 instead of trading with me if Price was available? Because Risk It for a Brisket got Price there, and then I traded you Josh Jacobs. I'm wondering, were you hoping for a Price, and then you thought, let's go get a running back still with this pick? It's a butterfly effect, isn't it? But guys, I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. You know, as I'm waiting for this pick, just a bit of fun news, I would say. If you don't know, I am going to start posting content every week on the Fantasyland Football channel. I'll spam that in the chat here. Go subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Released my first video of the year a couple days ago. I also just started a shorts channel, which I'm trialing out, kind of just trying to have some fun with it. So if you like short form content, I'll spam that in the chat as well, and you can go give us a follow there. And then obviously, like, we're on Instagram, TikTok. Instagram, I'm going to try and put my rankings weekly in season there. I've got my designer kind of helping me build out some templates, so that will be fun. All right, CJ Daniels off the board. Kevin Coleman off the board. Shanderson here says, yes, I need a running back in low-key. Lost our trade for sure, but you win some, you lose some. I think that's pretty close value. As a contender, I think it's harder to sell to sell these 107 onward picks for running backs that matter. It depends on the league, obviously, but that's right. Kate the Great. Guys, I cannot wait. Oh my God. I can't give up too much information right now, but can I just say, I cannot wait for you guys to see the draft guide for redraft season for 2026, because I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I think it might be the coolest thing the fantasy industry has ever seen. I know it's a crazy statement to make, but it's looking like my favorite product we will have ever released. I can't wait for you guys to see it. Seth McGowan. Is McGowan off the board at the 408? But I think Cade Klubnik's a great pick. I really do. You know, he's my 29th ranked player in this class. So coming off the board at the 410 there is cool. Michael Trigg, who, yeah, was he a UDFA to Dallas? He ended up in Dallas, didn't he? Yeah. We've got one last pick here. Yeah, by the way, Le'Veon Moss is retired. That is true. People are saying that in the chat. Love the Taylor Green pick as well. From my understanding with Le'Veon Moss, I think he signed as a UDFA, and then, I don't know, I don't want to speak for him, but I imagine he was like, I'm probably not going to play NFL ball. I don't want to pursue it that much and like put all my time and effort into it. I made enough money as a collegiate player, so let me just go pursue the next part of my career. That's what I perceive that to be about, but again, I don't know. I don't want to speak for him. But he had a lot of injuries that he dealt with. Okay. That is the draft. We'll get to some trade questions here in a second. I agree, Scribbles. I agree. I don't even like Klubnik that much, but I do think he's going to start games this year. So, our team. We've now got... what a crazy team we have here. Alvin Kamara. Does anybody want Kamara? If anybody sends me a third for Kamara, you can have him. Herbert, Hendo, Kamara, Olave, Burden, Parkinson, I guess. Let's fill out these. Let's fill out these taxi spots. I guess I already have too many spaces. I'll figure it out later. It's looking better. I know it's not a good team, but it's looking better. All right. It's looking a lot better. All right. We are going to answer trade questions, which if you guys are out there and wanting to either get your team reviewed or you want to get some trade questions responded to, you can check out the link in the pinned comment. That will take you to the link tree, which has all the different options to have a look at. But I will look at the trade questions, then we'll do the giveaway for today. So this is your last chance to enter the giveaway. Code word is Perseus. Like the stream, type Perseus, and you'll be entered. All right, first trade question is from Tuggy Space Ghost, which he would be sending away the 106 to get back Javonte Williams and the 301. To me, I'm fine with this. I know a lot of people don't value Javonte Williams the way I do. So I would say from a market perspective, I would say if I polled this chat, the vast majority of them probably want the 106 over Javonte Williams. For me, if you're a contender and you need to win this year, you want to win this year, Javonte Williams is just as good of an asset as anything you could get at the 106. 3 years with the Dallas Cowboys offense locked down. I'm fine with it, although I will say consensus is going to tell you that they would rather have the 106. So if you could counter this at all, and he says sending Arroyo, okay. If you could counter this by, let's see. Could you add, how could you do this? Okay. Could you do like a Rashee White Bashul Tootin swap? You know, I think that's where the community will probably be happier. Wait, I need to do the opposite of that. Sorry. You have Bashul Tootin. So that would mean let's try and get like a Bucky Irving and swap him out for like a JCM and something small. JCM and, you know, the 212 or something. That's where I think the community would probably be happier with, but I would value Javonte this way. In fact, if you were in a league with me and you wanted Javonte off my team, I'm not taking the 107 onwards in this class. You're going to have to give me a top 6 pick. Shanderson, I answered this one via DMs. We had a conversation about it, but Druza says, I am attempting to rebuild, and he is not giving up any 27 first. So you're sending away Daniels to get back Kyler, Rashad in a first? This does not seem like a rebuilding move, moving off of Daniels. This is terrible value. I like Kyler Murray, but there's not a chance I'm doing this trade. No way. Like, his team is good. Like, what he has Bowers too and a tight end premium. There's no logical reason for you to accept this trade. Like, this is truly a terrible offer. Not even close. Not even close. This is a laughable offer. It's really bad. Well, so he's going to give you Kyler Murray, Rashad White, in a late first, not even next year and the year after, so he can get Jaden Daniels in the Superflex League. Like, are we joking right now? This is awful. That's maybe the worst offer I've seen for Jaden Daniels this entire year. You're probably missing 2 firsts worth of value. So he's not giving up any 27 first. He's not getting Jaden Daniels. That's a dog shit offer. I'm sorry. That's as simple as it is. Big Sty sending Wandale and Gunnar Helm for Gadsden. Don't have an opinion on this. You know, I don't think that the Njoku signing kills Gadsden for Dynasty. Wandale is basically going to be Khalil Shakir in that offense, in my opinion, in Tennessee. Maybe something a little bit better than Khalil Shakir. He's not going to be a league winner. But I also think Gunnar Helm has a good chance to be a productive player this year. They've got the most vacated targets to tight ends with Chig leaving. As a rookie, he had 55 targets. I think he could get closer to 90 targets this year. But overall, I'm pretty indifferent on this one. So from a value perspective, it's quite fair. Keenan here with the trade. He's got 2 trades, actually. Sending away Benson and Lamb, getting back Thomas and the 103 and a second. Ooh, to trade CeeDee Lamb. It's a 1 quarterback, 10 team start 8. What do we think, guys? Lamb? It's essentially Lamb or Thomas and Tyson. 1 quarterback league may not be enough there. If this was a 12-team super flex start 10, I'm probably taking it. But in such a small league, I think there is a little more meat on the bone that you could ask for. For example, like, could you counter by removing this second, asking for an additional first and sending them a second? That would put me over the top. Adding like Zay Flowers and sending back Johnson or Golden would put me over the top. The equivalent to that at running back would be you sending... they don't really have a running back where you could do that. Yeah. So I'm not opposed to this idea. It's close, but I think you need a little bit more value. Keenan, this is another one. Well, it's the same trade, but yeah. Hopefully that's helpful, Keenan. Okay, those are all the trade questions. So let's do the giveaway. Giving away a live team playbook. We've got 52 eligible bachelors. Jokes, obviously. Eligible people. 52 of you. Let's go ahead and let's spin the wheel for tonight's winner. Everybody, good luck. I hope it's you. Yeah. And if you hear me speaking, I'm talking to you specifically. All of you. I hope it's all of you. Okay. I hope you all win. Obviously, I logistically could not do that, but good luck to everybody, and to everybody, good luck. Here we go. Spinning the wheel. And let's see who our winner of a live team playbook is for the day. Our winner today is Sean Ramos 729. Excuse me, Sean. Sorry. Sean, to claim your voucher, I need you to DM me on Discord. There's my username. I need a screenshot of your YouTube account so I can verify you. And I need you to tell me your Flock Fantasy username. And if you don't have a username yet, create a free account on the Flock Fantasy website with the promo code LAND so I can find you on the back end. Okay? So I appreciate you, Sean. I see you in the chat there. Definitely hit me up, and I'll make sure we get you all sorted away. Okay, let's jump into some team reviews. Appreciate y'all being here with me today. And let me make sure we don't have any upgrades here on the back end. Okay. So let's start with Gringo Sprinkles, I think is the name here. Sprinkles? By the way, shout out to Gringo, who became a brand new promo code LAND annual Mother Flocker member this week and is going to be fast-tracked into the Perseus League that will be drafting this Monday. Shout out to you, my guy. The team name is Comeback Season. Spelt, just exactly the way you would typically spell it. And you're ranked second. Like MK, exactly. Okay, so you're in a Superflex 12-team start 10. There's no tight end premium in this league, though. So we'll keep that in mind as we go. The Flock site has you 6th at quarterback, 10th at running back, 3rd at receiver, 3rd at tight end. Let's have a look. So you do have some picks in the 2026 class. We'll help you kind of come up with the game plan for that with the War Room. And we'll see what fits this roster. Your untouchables on this team would be JSN. There's no premium. So JSN, Caleb Williams would be the closest then. Players that you're looking to hold for me, Jonathan Brooks is a really strong hold. Weirdly enough, I know it sounds strange, but Isaiah Pacheco, I would love to see what his role looks like in Detroit. Jordan Addison is a strong hold for me. Chigakonkwo, Brian Thomas, Marvin. These are all players that I would like to hold. If you need to drop someone, Elijah Moore can be punted off this roster at this point. Trey Lance can be punted off every roster that's ever existed. Arian Smith, Marvin Mims, Najee, Malik Davis. These guys can all be dropped if you like to clear up space. However, there really is no waiver wire targets that I'm interested in this league. So in this league, you're starting Caleb, Dak, Judkins. We don't have an RB2 really. Stevenson, let's say. JSN, Marv, Loveland. Then we're flexing Thomas, Addison, and Wandale. Not a bad team at all. You've got multiple firsts in 2027. You've got the 105, which could help us solve that RB2 problem. I like this team a lot. You're not a juggernaut. You're not Thanos, obviously. I would just say you're a really strong contender in this league. And I'd probably lean on giving you like a... I want to say like B to B+. I'll say B just because running back room is quite weak. And, you know, outside of JSN, your receiver room isn't the strongest thing I've ever seen in my life. There's a lot of projections there. Okay, let's go to the war room. But let me make sure and get the right browser here going on. Okay. We're good to go here. We're good to go. Okay, so good thing is you've got good draft capital coming up, not only this year, but also next year. But with those picks, I mean, I know everybody has their opinions on Jadarian Price. I've been pretty vocal about the fact that I'm open to drafting him as high as the 104. So at the 105, I think he'd be a really perfect fit for your team, honestly. But if instead it means you get Tyson or Lemon, like that's also an incredible addition to this team. I wouldn't even be opposed to Mendoza. Like these are all really great adds to your team. I'm not really bothered by who that ends up being. Beyond that, it is very much a situation of get your guy, you know, whoever your guy is in these rounds. Now, if you want to trade that 105, you know, probably too expensive, or, you know, Walker, Cook, these are like pipe dreams. These guys are going to be too expensive. Maybe you attach the 205 onto it and the 305, you know, but those are like the pipe dream additions. Probably not going to happen. More realistically, I have seen people get like Breece Hall for this price, which I'm kind of indifferent on. I might prefer the pick, but in your situation, you know, it's hard to find a better fit there. Yeah. I wouldn't be opposed to Javonte if you could add something on top as well, but beyond that, 205, you know, you can use in packages to get running back, right? So if you have to package any of those picks to get a running back that you really like, not opposed to adding them all. I'm going to put this war room in the Discord. So all you'll need to do is go to Discord and then go to war room. And then it'll be available for you there to download under the LAN tab, the LAN community there. Let's go into the chalkboard because we can certainly come up with some ideas. Man. Let me just say, like, the way... Where's this pick? You have the 27th first of Daryl's Greens. Daryl Green, what an all-time great. Daryl's Greens is not a very good team. So you probably want to hold his pick. I mean, Achane, honestly though, like, Daniels, Purdy, Stafford, Achane, Cook, Henry alone could carry him. It's not a bad team. But you'd probably prefer to sell your pick than his pick if you're going to. But I would say in season is when you're looking to make a move. And that's if you just want to send a 27 first and add to that running back room. You know, or add a receiver that you know is going to produce. So, you know, Javonte Williams comes to mind here. We've talked about some of these names before. Chase Brown is a great get here. We just said his name earlier, but Breece Hall. Who else is kind of in that tier? Probably not going to get the Taylors, Cooks, Walkers. But at that point, if Cam Scatterboo is putting up numbers, if, you know, Kyron or, you know, Bucky Irving, you'd have to wait to buy Bucky to see kind of what his role is in the season. But those guys could just be the missing piece for you. But honestly, a team like this, you could just go into the season and kind of see how the cards play out, because you have your own 27 first. I wouldn't send that right now. You know, this team could pivot in season if needed. You know, if you can't get a running back at the 105 and you have to take BPA, if Marvin, Brian, Addison all disappoint, if Stevenson takes a step back and Judkins disappoints, and, you know, you could look at then selling Dak Prescott. Like, if you're a seller mid-season, you're selling Dak, you're selling probably Wandale, and then you would add to the 2 first and 27 that you already have. But it's a good team, man. I think we've got a really great game plan for you, a cohesive game plan. In an ideal world, you add Jadarian Price at RB2 or a Walker, Cook, Taylor, Breece, one of those type of names at RB2 with that 105. And that would pretty much set you up to go out and compete this year and for many years to come. So I appreciate you big time, my friend. Thanks for letting me look at the squad. You will get your playbook within the next 3 to 4 business days. So expect that probably early next week, now that I think about it. But we'll definitely get that to you ASAP. Kate is working overtime to get this draft guide ready for you guys for redraft season. All right, what's up, Good Bird? What's up, Good Bird? Welcome in to the chat. Welcome into the stream. How we living, how we feeling? We've got a team name of Star Wars, a Lou Hope. And we are currently ranked, looks like 7th in this league. So we'll keep that in mind as we look at the squad. It's a Superflex, only a 10 team, and only a start 9. So those top end talents are really going to matter, right? Depth is not going to be as important in this league as other leagues out there. So certainly something to keep in mind. Okay. Let's jump into this team. He says 3 starting quarterback slots. So it's actually, wait. Bet says no Travis Hunter talk today. I'm at peace. Well, to be fair, I actually have Travis Hunter in the rookie draft that we did today. I already had him on that team. So are you saying this is such an interesting league? It says Superflex start 9, but you have 2 quarterbacks that have to start and a Superflex, which means if I'm reading this properly, your league is actually like this. That's how I'm reading it right now. Still a small league, but just an interesting way that it's kind of being outworked. Okay. So, he says, moving to 2 tight end slots in 2027. I just took over a friend's orphan in this league with a bunch of pals. This friend is not super knowledgeable. Startup was last year. He took Saquon Mahomes at the 1-2 turn. Oh, gosh. Eagles defense at the 4-10 in a Dynasty League? Okay. Let's have a look. We've got some picks this year that we should definitely be able to help our team with. Okay. So, do you have an untouchable? No, you don't have an untouchable. I would say maybe your 27 first would be untouchable. Maybe your 28 first. Players that I would like to hold on this team. Zay Flowers, for me, would be a hold. Mac Jones. Gunnar Helm. And let's say Theo Johnson as well. Players that we could easily drop. You can drop if you needed to. Like Kent Allen. Don't want to drop him, but if you had to. And then probably would drop Will Howard or Riley Leonard next if I had to. Again, I don't really want to drop anybody. On the waiver wire, Njoku is worth rostering, especially in a 2 tight end league in 2027. Yeah, I would say Keenan Allen for sure, just because he's a sellable name, and David Njoku are worth rostering in a league like this, especially with 2 tight ends coming in 2027. So you'd be starting Mahomes, Shuck, no running backs that matter. Olave, Burden, Hawkinson. You'd be flexing Jordan Love because you have 3 quarterbacks you can start, I guess. And your last flex spot would be between Zay Flowers, Alec Pierce. Look, I mean, the team could technically compete if you're able to figure out that running back room, but that running back room is so gross right now. I'm also looking at your future draft capital, and I'm seeing 1, 2, 3 first and 27, multiple seconds, and I'm thinking, man, we could really pivot and focus towards next year as well. So I'm going to give you 2 options. We're going to call you an in or out roster. And depending on how the year starts, will depend if we go all in or if we're out. It's not a bad team. I just think because it's a 10-teamer, I wish there were better players. I'd give you a B-. But your draft capital grade, I'd give you an A because you've got a lot of good picks upcoming. Let's jump into the war room here. And with a team like this, at the 104, I do really think Price is a fine option. People are going to be upset about that. But honestly, my number 1 pick in this sort of format would be Fernando Mendoza. Why? Because you're telling me you can start 3 quarterbacks every week. And quarterbacks score the most points of any position. So, if for some reason Mendoza is there, I'm drafting him. If not, then Price is a fine option, as well as, Lemon, Tate, Tyson, right? I doubt Tate is there. Tate would be my number 1 option there. Now, there is no tight end premium, but you're about to go into a 2 tight end league. So Sadiq is a really great pick at the 109 for you. If not Sadiq, again, Ty Simpson, I would be more interested in a league like this with how many quarterbacks you have to start. At the 201, it's either going to be Denzel Boston, Eli Stowers would be my preference, or Jonah Coleman. Beyond that, go BPA, get your best player available each time. If you wanted to go all in, you can trade that 104. You're really looking for like James Cook, Taylor, not Taylor Heineke, or Ken Walker there. And at the 109, at best, you may be able to get a Josh Jacobs if this league doesn't know what they're doing. If not Josh Jacobs, like Tootin is more realistic. Saquon, Javonte Williams, I won't roll out there. That would be awesome.
And then for the 201, you know, I don't really see a reason to trade that. We're not going to trade that. Or we're not going to... Well, I would say you can use in packages these other picks, but... okay. If you were able to turn your 2 picks into, let's say, Walker Jacobs, Walker Tootin, Walker Javonte, I'd say, hey, let's go out there and let's compete this year, right? I mean, if you were able to do that, you then have a starting lineup of Mahomes, Shuck, Walker, Tootin, Olave, Burden, Hawkinson, Zay, and then your super flex is Jordan Love. That's a good lineup. That's enough to go out there and compete. I think that's best case scenario. It's probably not a realistic outcome. But that is possible. If that's possible, then I wouldn't be opposed to it. Now, you will find your war room under the Discord land tab where the war room is right there. But jumping into the chalkboard here, I wouldn't be opposed to selling Patrick Mahomes if the price is right. Look, we have to do an out section and we have to do an in section. Okay, so if you're out, we could sell Patrick Mahomes. We could sell Jordan Love, which I'm not opposed to selling anyway. Ramondre Stevenson. Chris Olave. Zay Flowers we could sell as well. TJ Hawkinson. Alec Pierce. I mean, really, if you're going to sell, you might as well gut this thing. But if you're in, you know, what could you send that 27 first for, right? So those are the 2 pathways. And if you're out, you know, it's because you started the year and you were like, you know, you started 2-6 or something, right? If you're in, maybe you started the year 5-3. You're like, okay, I'm a couple pieces away. I've got draft capital. You know, we can go out and make some selections here. For Ramondre Stevenson, we'll take any second in any year. For Jordan Love, we would ideally want a future early to mid first. For Mahomes, let's see, who could we tier down to? Can you go from Mahomes to Knicks, right? So can we get, in this format, Bo Nix plus a 27 first? That would be an awesome option for you. Might be a little greedy, but depends on how this league operates. Don't want to go to Darnold. Goff would be great. I would do the same exact deal for Jared Goff. Purdy, for sure. We can explore Purdy. I would do the same deal for Baker Mayfield as well. Purdy, I don't mind like Brock Purdy plus Marvin Harrison. I think Purdy will be the hardest to get a future first with, but obviously that would be an ideal outcome for you as well. For Chris Olave, you're wanting somewhere in the range of like 1 to 2 future firsts of value. Right, for Zay Flowers, you would want an early to mid future first. For Hawkinson, we'll take any second in any year, considering this is a start 2 tight end league. Alec Pierce is weird. If he ends up like leading this team in targets and catches and receptions, and he should, then it wouldn't really be worth selling him for a second. So I would just say whatever market value is at the time. Now, on the opposite side of that, if you are wanting to contend, you know, then we're probably wanting to add to this team specifically running backs. So we talked about a lot of those today, but Chase Brown will be a perfect fit if that's the case. If not Chase Brown, you know, we talked about Breece Hall, We talked about Bucky Irving, you know, if he's performing the way he did in his rookie year. You know, Travion Henderson, you've already got Ramondre Stevenson. Why not lock down that backfield, give you more options there? Cam Scattaboo, Javonte Williams. Javonte Williams would be a perfect fit. My name is not Javonte Williams, but that's kind of the two pathways there. And it depends on how your team does to begin the year, right? So hopefully that is helpful, my friend. But there's a very clear path depending on what happens in season. You're either going to be a big buyer or a really big seller. There should be no in between for you. There should be no in between. You should be very decisive once you make that decision. And I wouldn't really make that decision until I'm in season. Hope that's helpful, man. Appreciate you. Thanks for letting me look at the squad. And we will obviously get you your team playbook ASAP. Should be early next week, hopefully. All right, Brasky Pants, let me know if you're in the chat, my friend. Team name is The Trash Man, which not exactly the most promising team name there. You're currently ranked 6th in this league. And this is a Superflex Start 10. Okay, Superflex Start 10, ranked 6th. The site has you 9th at quarterback, 4th at running back, 7th at receiver, and 9th at tight end. And you said stuck in a very weird spot. I love the Danny DeVito reference, yes. I love Sonny. Okay, says stuck in a weird spot. I feel like I could contend if I could acquire some receivers. Don't love the idea of spending picks, but I don't. If I don't, this year is a punt. Exhausted, I'll chase tear down with league mates. Thinking of sending my first for Olave or going for a small for the likes of Quentin Golden. Okay. No tight end premium here. Okay, so do we have untouchables? The only untouchable is, well, actually, yeah, I'd say like Chase right now. Omarion's getting really close to that range. So those are your untouchables. Problem is, players that we'd like to hold here. Ricky Pearsall, Elijah Arroyo. It's a lot of tight ends that I like holding on your league in your league, but you don't have a premium, so that makes them less important. But you know, I would add Trevor Etienne as a hold as well, with all the unknowns there in that backfield. But Ferguson, Arroyo as well. Okay, so right now we are starting Nix, Goff, Hampton, Walker, Chase, DJ, Gadsden. Then we'll flex Breece Hall. And how many starters is this? It's 10. Ooh, dude. I gotta be real with you. You're not. I don't think this is a real contender. Oh, I mean, look. Chase. There's a world here where the combination of Nix, Goff, Hampton, Walker, Breece, Chase, and DJ gets you into the playoffs. But if you've already tried to tear down off of Jamar Chase and nobody is biting, you almost have to go and compete, but you don't have the assets to compete right now. And if you were to try to get them, you would need to tear down, but nobody wants to. That puts you in almost an impossible situation. Yeah, wow. I'm very rarely stumped, but this is a tough one. Is there anyone on the waiver wire? Ooh, hello. Caleb Douglas. Go pick him up. Oh, bro, what is up with your waiver wire? Holy hell. You have like the entire 3rd and 4th round on the waiver wire. Okay. We are picking up Caleb Douglas. We are picking up Damond Claiborne, sorry. We are picking up Taylon Green, dropping Marcus Mariota there. Eli Heidenreich is there. Sean Tucker. Oscar Delp. Eli Raridon. You've already got so many tight ends, though. That's probably why. But Douglas, Claiborne, and Green gotta be rostered. Those other tight ends, I would say so as well. But, I mean, you can't roster 30 tight ends. Man. So, what about, instead of tearing down off of Chase, just selling him? Do you think that you could sell Jamar Chase instead of just trying to tear down from him, like, for picks? Is there a team that has enough picks to buy him? Do you think if you did that, you could then sell Brees and Ken for equivalent value? He said he couldn't tear down from him. I'm just wondering if he can sell him, like, just straight up. Like, even if it's not for another receiver. Like, if it's a different position that we get back in return with picks. You know, is that possible or no? I don't really love, to be honest, at all, the idea of sending your first for a player. Because I don't see how you're going to win this league with the tight end room also having to flex like Ricky Pearsall and Jordan Mason. That's just not a team that's going to win a league. So I'm trying to think this through logically. What do you think, Jesse? How far have you tried to go down? Why don't I show you some Jamar Chase tear down options, some Amarion Hampton tear down options. And the thing is, if you can't tear down from them, then you have to keep them. Jeez, this is a difficult spot to be in. Right now, I would call you a sleeper as a team. Your team's in a really strange position. I'd probably give you a B- as well. Problem is, see, I don't think we can pivot off of Brees for a receiver, because I don't think Braylon Allen's going to be a startable name, and then you are in the same position. You still have a weak flex position, right? Jesse says neighbor's guy won't move. Okay, I don't think you're tearing down far enough then. Let's look at some tear downs that are even further. So, let's look at some further tear downs for Jamar Chase. Have you thought about George Pickens, right? Like, that's where you're actually going to find value in return. So, it would be George Pickens plus Javonte Williams plus a 27 first. And then we could maybe give something back to kind of make them happy. But can we give them back Ricky Pearsall? Right? Because if you're trying to get Amon-Ra, if you're trying to get Neighbors, CD, you're not going far enough down to net an actual return like you could with a Pickens or some of these other names we'll mention. So that's idea number one. Let's keep looking here. Okay. What about Burden, Scatterboo, and a first? Luther Burden plus Cam Scatterboo plus a 27 first. That trade not only allows you to fill a better starting lineup in totality, but it also gives you flexibility if you want to completely tear things down mid-season. I don't even know if this is enough for Chase, though. I don't know if this is enough for Chase. He says he sent me Pickens and Javonte this morning for Brees and my 27 first. That doesn't help you at all. That doesn't really accomplish any goal at all. And I like people saying in the chat, I would not sell your first right now. Yeah, this is maybe short for Chase, so could you also do well, that team has two 27 firsts. And then you'll send again. Ricky Pearsall seems to be the sacrificial lamb here. Okay. Lad McConkey, the guy just doesn't have any picks there to work with. Egbuka would be awesome. Emeka Egbuka plus a 27 first. That's not going to be enough, but I doubt this guy's looking to tear down. It'd probably have to be Egbuka plus 2 future firsts at minimum. Okay. Marvin Loveland in a first. Marvin Harrison plus Colston Loveland plus a 27 first. That is probably most ideal outcome there. You know, maybe you could find a way to get Mekhi Lemon involved. Like, if you want to stretch this even further, you know, can you get Mekhi Lemon and send Ricky Pearsall? If not, in your situation, I'm not completely opposed to the Marvin Loveland in the first deal. T-Mac would be awesome, but it'd have to be like T-Mac and 2 firsts. So, Tet McMillan plus 2 future firsts. Okay. Cardinal Tate, I'd say the same thing, and this guy's team is not very good, so those are probably very valuable picks as well. Okay, so that might give you a new perspective on some unique deals that you could try and tear down off of Chase for. Transparently, though, man, if you're not able to tear down, then you might need to just be patient here. Like, sure, people aren't willing to pay for Jamar Chase right now. What about in season? I know my camera went there. What about in season if Jamar Chase is scoring 21 points per game, 22 points per game? Then people are probably going to be willing to make a trade for Jamar Chase. They'll be more aggressive, right? But right now, I'm trying those tear downs, and if they don't happen, I'm keeping it cool. We can't move Walker Brees because if we do it for an equivalent receiver, we're still with the same problem. But, you know, just one of these. Like, let's say hypothetically you were able to do the Scatterboo, Burden, and 2 future firsts. Now, that gives you a lot more flexibility. That probably leans into more of a punt than a contend anyway. And if you did a deal like that, then you have a clear direction. You can start in season looking at selling like a Walker, Brees, DJ. But I hope that's helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. This is the end of the review here. He says, London guy wanted to send me 27 first, second, 28 first, second, and Emmett and Naylor for Chase and Brees. No, that's just not even close. Again, what the guy with Drake London is trying to do is he's trying to float you a 2 seconds, which don't matter, Emmett and Naylor, which don't matter, and give you 2 first-round picks for Jamar Chase and Brees Hall. Or sorry, for okay, so London was involved. Let me remember this one then. So you're saying he was going to give you Drake London plus 27 first plus 28 first. The seconds I understand are involved. You also said Emmett Johnson and Jalen Naylor. Like, respectfully. And then you have to give him Brees Hall and Jamar Chase. Look, here's the deal. I do not want a trade where I am getting back 2 seconds Emmett Johnson and Jalen Naylor when I'm trading a Jamar Chase. If you're accepting a trade like that, you're getting taken advantage of. So let's remove all the bullshit. If he wants Jamar Chase and Brees Hall, we like Drake London and 2 future firsts. We like that. But it's not the complete deal here. So let's start there. Let's say, hey, I'm ready to make a deal, but I don't want a bunch of fluff. So what could we add on to this deal to get this done? Okay, so this is great. Let's ask for Luther Burden as well. Honestly, let's call Brees Hall a 27 first value. Let's say Brees Hall is worth a 27 first. This is much more reasonable. Remove all the fluff, right? Let's get to what actually matters. When you say he had Higgins included, you mean T. Higgins? Okay. Yeah, you could also ask for just 2 27 firsts in this as well. I think these are much more reasonable deals. You know, if you can throw in Boston or Chig onto this deal for you, then it makes even more sense. But this is what matters. The seconds, Emmett Johnson, they don't matter. Okay, they can be throw-ins once a deal is done. But these 2 deals, I would be comfortable with. Again, let's call Brees Hall worth a 27 first. I would sell Jamar Chase for London, Burden, and a first. I think that's a fair... hard to buy Chase, hard to sell Chase, but that's fair. So, yeah, I hope that's helpful. Let me know if you have any final questions here before I move on to our next review of the night. But, yeah, dude, it sounds like you're closer to a London deal than maybe you originally had realized. But, yeah, dude. Let me know if you got any final questions there. And just while I'm waiting to hear back from you, I'm going to set up this next one. Let me know if Stephen Day's in the chat here. Yeah, I think that's a really, really good deal. Awesome, Brasky. I appreciate you, man. You know, maybe there is light at the end of the tunnel for you after all. Okay, so we've got S. Day here, whose team name is Perpetual Marshawn Mock. And you are ranked 4th in this league. Looks like you are graded 4th at quarterback, 2nd at running back, 4th at receiver, 4th at tight end. Superflex start 10. Okay. He says, running it back for another review. Won it all last year, so thanks for all the advice. I'll be on the stream drafting with the India League. Shout out to you, Steve, and I'm glad that we were able to help contribute to your championship. Okay. So, we've got a great team, it looks like. Drake May would be one of your untouchables, guys that you want to build around. Same with Amarion Hampton. It's going to be, you're going to need a lot to move those guys, right? Players that we want to hold. Right now, for me, Jack Besh, want to see what he looks like in year 2 under a new offense. Jalen McMillan, want to hold him and see what that offense looks like. Ricky Pearsall, I think, could still develop into a good player. And I also think, like I said earlier, Isaiah Pacheco, worth holding. Worth holding. It's worth seeing what he could become. If you need to drop players, there's not anyone here that I really want to drop, and you've already done your rookie draft. Ooh, but Terrence Ferguson's out there, my dude. Ooh, I don't know. We got to go pick up Terrence Ferguson with that tight end room looking so weak. Ferguson and Gunnar Helm. You got to pick up those two guys. Yeah, I mean, you could even go like Delp and Theo and Klein. I'd be willing to drop. Jeez, who do you drop? You need to do a couple 2-for-1 so you can clear up some spots, but yeah. I would definitely rather have Terrence Ferguson than like Braylon Allen, Jerry Jeudy, you know. So if you had to drop them, although I don't really want to, those would be the guys that I would let go of. But you're starting Drake May, Dak, Hampton, CMC, Pickens, Olave, no one at tight end we love. And then you're flexing Ladd, Judkins, Tootin, maybe Metcalf, one of those receivers of depth that you've got. I like this a lot, man. This is fun. This is fun. Is there a tight end premium here? No tight end premium. Okay. So, all right. Well, look, first off, this is definitely a contending roster. Strong contender, I would say. Coming off a championship. And I'd give this a solid B+ team. You have all your picks still, which is great to see. So, I don't want to go out and, you know, send a first for a middling tight end. I would like to instead go the cheap route at tight end. And let me explain what I mean by that. So, for example, could you send a 27-second... Could you send Rico Dowdle for Mark Andrews? Right? You know, maybe you prefer Rico right now. Could you do that for Stevenson or Algier or Pacheco? Could you do that for Mark Andrews? Could you send a third for Mark Andrews? Could you send a third and a fourth for one of Chig Okonkwo or Isaiah Likely? Isaiah Likely would also be a pretty fun ad here. So I want to band-aid it. I don't want to spend too big on the position right now. You know what? Could you buy George Kittle for a second? You know, do you have to add a fourth onto that? You've already got Tonjes. Could you just add, you know, make it really simple? Try and add George there. Could you go and get TJ Hawkinson for this price? So there's plenty of options there. You know, not a bad idea to sell Tyler Algier to whoever the Jeremiah Love owner is. If they... I just typed for Tyler Algier. If they, you know, have a tight end, okay, so that could be perfect, actually. Tyler Algier. Ooh, I kind of feel like Algier's role will be a little more important. Yeah, I'm not opposed, though, to like, could you do something like this, where you send Tyler Algier plus a third for Mark Andrews plus a second? What about something like that? Maybe even send a third and a fourth. That's intriguing to me. How about the Travion Henderson owner with Ramondre Stevenson? Ooh. What about Ramondre for Chig? What do we think about that, y'all? Ramondre Stevenson for Chig Okonkwo. That's a fun one, too. You think you need more for Stevens? Well, look, if you could get a third on top, if you could get the second and third round pick swap, you know, that's obviously worth exploring there. But this is what I mean when I say Band-Aid. These are all Band-Aids. None of them are permanent fixes, but I think the rest of your team is good enough. We just need to kind of like put a nice little Band-Aid on it. However, I will say, Steven, your team in particular, I typically don't want to sell my 27 first, but in your situation, I'm really not opposed. You know, there's a group of players that if you're going to be a late first and people are treating these first like they're the second coming of our Lord and Savior, then I'm willing to explore the market. You know, does that mean you can add a, you know, Nico Collins, for example, who I'm not very high on, but, you know, I mean, shoot, you could be a team that would be worth buying a Rashee Rice right now. And maybe you could even get back like someone second. What does a Rice owner have? Do they have a tight end? They got McBride, so that's not going to work. But actually, no, it's not going to work. Yeah. But maybe running back is the position we go more here, and we just fill our flexes with running backs. You know, Javonte Williams would be a great fit with this team. The best fit, Chase Brown, by far. Breece Hall, we've talked about before. You don't have any of those names, right? Yeah, no. But, you know, I mean, being able to fill your lineup already with Dak, May, Hampton, CMC, Pickens, Olave. Let's Band-Aid that tight end position, Lab McConkey. And then your last two flex spots. You know, right now it's Judd's, Tootin. But if you were able to add a, you know, Javonte, that would feel better in the flex. A Breece, a Chase Brown, a Nico, a Rice. Like, there's certainly ways to improve. Sorry, y'all. I think I'm going to have to buy a real... Like, I just had the Amazon cam recorder, but I'm going to have to buy a better one. Anyway. Steven, let me know if you got any questions, man. I like the team a lot. I think you're poised for another championship run. You're definitely going to make the playoffs. But let me know if there's anything I didn't cover. Yeah, you must have been frustrated seeing the Jeremiah Love pick, I imagine. That would have been frustrating as a Tyler Algier owner if you held him for that long. But hey, you won a championship. That's what matters. Tear downs at quarterback. I didn't explore it because I think your team is already really well-rounded, and I typically am only looking to do that when I want to improve my starting lineup. So it's not that you can't tear down. It's just that I don't think you actually need to, given the strength of this team already. Let me know if that makes sense. Oh my gosh, my camera is bugging. We might have to go no camera here in a second. Yeah, I mean, you still want elite players, right? So I'm not opposed to it. Like, you know, if the Daniels owner is going to give you something impressive, or Lamar owner, but I just think you've already got incredible depth across the board. You're not a team that I would say really is a prime tear down candidate across the board. I know I keep saying across the board. Anyway, appreciate you, man. All right, we have got Beavers GM. Let me know if you're in the chat, and then Skyvo. Let me know if Skyvo's in the chat as well. Okay, Beavers GM, what is happening? Let me know if either of you guys are in the chat with me. Skyvo's here. What's up, Lucas? Get to yours shortly here. Smooth Beavers is the team name. This is a 1 quarterback, 12 teams, start 8. So only 2 flex spots, most likely. It is a tight end premium. And you are currently ranked 6th in this league. The site would have you ranked 12th at quarterback, 6th at running back, 2nd at receiver, and 9th at tight end. Okay. So he says this is tight end premium. It looks like an FFPC league, which we now can feature on the site. Okay, so 1 quarterback. Obviously, your untouchables here, you know, you just added Jeremiah Love. He would be an untouchable for you. We don't want to move him. We want to build around him. And obviously, Jamar Chase. Players that I want to hold on this team. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. I like both holding him and Rashad White, honestly. Malachi Fields, who you just drafted, you know, is a great one. I love Justin Jolie. And I would say Isaiah Pacheco, as I've talked about a lot today. Players that you can drop. I mean, is there anyone on the waiver wire? Oh, Ty Simpson, Jack Besh. Yeah, dude. I would drop Kevin Coleman, unless you just really love the guy. And honestly, probably Jacoby Brissett as well. I would rather roster names like Jack Besh at quarterback. Any of these are just as good as Jacoby Brissett as an option, but you know, you could go Bryce Young. You could pick up if you wanted to. Maybe he takes a leap this year. Max Clare. You got to roster Max Clare over Justin Jolie, in my opinion, but they're all decent options. Right now, you are starting Darnold, Love, Hendo, Chase, Pickens, Gadsden, then Olave, and Waddle. That's your 8. That's a pretty good lineup. You have your first, you have your second. Okay. Yeah, not a bad team at all. I would certainly say that you're a contender. Hard to say you're not when you've got Jamar Chase on the team, George Pickens, Chris Olave. I would give your overall team grade right now probably like a B flat. Not a bad team, but you know, quarterback and tight end certainly aren't that strong. So 1 quarterback, start 8. I know you need to fix quarterback and tight end, but I don't really want to move off of Chase in such a small league. So what I would rather do is you are going to wait until in season. And then once you're in season, let's send that 27 first away. And what I would love to do is find like a quarterback tight end combo that's worthy of a first in this league. Okay, so for example, this guy's got McBride, Warren, and Kraft. And a tight end premium. You know, could you add from his team, you know, Warren, Shuck? Tyler Warren plus Tyler Shuck in a tight end premium. I want to do a double dip if I can. How about Fannin Purdy? Yes. Okay. Harold Fannin plus Brock Purdy. That's kind of perfect. Again, in a non-tight end premium, am I pursuing this? No, but I think they really like that's just the missing pieces. Obviously, if you could, for some random reason, get Colson Loveland straight up for that first, then that's a no-brainer as well. You're not going to be able to add on one of those quarterbacks. I wouldn't do this for Laporta. I wouldn't do this for Pitts. I wouldn't do this for Kittle. Yeah, it has to be very specific players. I mean, would I do it for Kittle and Josh Allen? Yeah, Josh Allen plus George Kittle. I would do that. That's a different story. I wouldn't do it for Hurts and Pitts, though. But, you know, imagine you got one of those done. The Fannin and Brock Purdy deal, I think, is perfect. Because then your starting lineup turns into Brock Purdy, Love, Henderson, Chase Pickens, Fannin, Olave, Waddle. And on your bench, you have Darnold, Gadsden, Hawkinson, Pacheco, Krosky, Merritt. That's a better situation, in my opinion. But again, like, if you were in a one quarterback, 12 team start 10, start 11, super flex start 10, start 11, maybe I'm entertaining the idea of tearing down off of Love and Chase. But right now, I just don't really see any reason to do so. You need hammers to win leagues. So ultimately, I really wouldn't want to trade those guys. Of course, you could send your first away if Gadsden and Hawkinson and Schultz are like band-aiding that spot for you. You could send your first away for a Javonte Williams, for example, like one of these type of running backs. Chase Brown, you know, all the guys in that tier who are going to help you win right now. But I would wait to make sure that you don't have a bunch of injuries. Because if you do this move now and all your team goes down with an injury, you'll regret trading that first. But if you're in the middle of the season and you're like, okay, I'm definitely making the playoffs, let's send that first away. But I love the idea of any of these highlighted trades here. Tyler Warren Shuck is probably the most realistic, but I love Harold Fannin and Brock Purdy the most. That really fixes all your problems. And then you go from a B probably to a B plus, and you're one of the stronger contenders in your league. But I appreciate you, man. Thanks for letting me look at the squad. Skyvo in the building. This is my last review of the week, sorry. Let me know if you're here with me, brother. Team name is the Speedy Boys. Speedy Boys. We're ranked first, okay. We are in a Superflex 12-team start 10. This is a bigger lineup than what we saw last time, for sure. And you are currently on the site ranked second at quarterback, 6th at running back, 3rd at receiver, and 2nd at tight end. He says, won the chip last year, been rebuilding this squad for a couple years. It was an orphan in a terrible spot. Thank you for your takes. A lot of them really helped me, especially with the rookie pick selection, of course. We do have a couple rookie picks here that we can take into account. So we can go to the war room there and come up with some ideas for you. But you are in the chat with me. I love to see that. So you're starting May, Lawrence, Achane, Scat, Neighbors, Olave, McBride, Burden, Wandale, Swift, or Monty could be involved, or Hunter or Myers. You've got the 102 as well. Tight end premium. I mean, Trey McBride probably was a huge reason why you won the league last year, I imagine. Drake May isn't untouchable. Trey McBride isn't untouchable in this format. How big is the premium, I wonder? Achan Neighbors. I want to hold Cam Scattaboo on this team. You have enough depth to wait and see if he returns to that stardom status. Travis Hunter, Luther Burden. I want to hold those guys. And I feel like Wandale is worth holding just because he could, if Hunter doesn't really do anything on offense, he could be a great flex. Xavier Hutchinson can be dropped at this point. Calvin Austin can be dropped at this point. Nick Mullins, Dobbs, Mitchell Evans, Noah Gray. These guys can all be let go if you'd like. On the waiver wire, Jordan James, I'd rather roster over any of the names that we just mentioned. He's the only name that really intrigues me, though. Okay. This is a great team. Yeah. I think it's fair to call this. What does the chat think? This feels like juggernaut status to me. Like, this feels like I'm really. Maybe I shouldn't give you that tag because of the depth at receiver and running back. Maybe I should just call you a contender, but the names up top are so strong. Yeah. Okay, we're going to go contender. You're close to a juggernaut. But imagine he added James Cook to this roster or something. Then you're really cooking with gas. But I do think this is deserving of like an A- grade. It's a good team. So we're going to give you the contender status, A-. And then overall draft capital grade will go, we'll say B+. Now, if you were to stick and pick here, then, obviously Tate would be my preference, as it's well known. You could tear down from it. The 212, I love Antonio Williams. I love Stribling if he falls that late there. But it really is like get your guy territory. Now, I might prefer to see if we can add a Jonathan Taylor here, a James Cook, a Ken Walker. I just think you're clearly a contender. I don't mind adding Tate because you could certainly use like another guy who could improve his value. But I'm imagining those flex spots. I'm imagining kind of planning around any injuries that might occur at running back. I feel like you add a Cook, Taylor, Walker, and it's going to be really hard to beat this team. A combo of May, Lawrence, Achan, Cook, Achan, Taylor, Walker with the rest of the squad is deadly. You still have that 27 first if any injuries occur and you need help at wide receiver or you need help at quarterback. You could fill it out there. And in some of these deals, you could look at adding a plus on Walker, Taylor, or Cook. We'll see what that can look like in a second. But with this 212, using any packages, right? I'm going to send this. Let me know if you don't know where to find it, but there's a War Room channel in our Discord. I'll send this in there. But earlier I said, if we sent the 102 away, Jonathan Taylor is an option. James Cook is an option. Ken Walker is an option. And what I would like to do is just kind of see what pluses you might be able to get in return for them. If there's any veterans, thinking like an Adams. Okay, that's perfect. Ken Walker plus Terry McLaurin. That's perfect. I mean, do you need to send back the 212 to make that happen? Can you get it straight up? I really like that option. What about the James Cook owner? The James Cook owner. I mean, look, Quentin Johnston, I don't think is a bad ad there. That makes me feel a little bit better. Godwin could work. Dobbs could work. I'd love if it was possible. You don't have your second next year. I was going to say, but what if you attached Wandale onto this? Who is this we're looking at? We're looking at Ken Walker. No. Who are we looking at just then? James Cook. Okay. So what about something like this where you're going to send back in this deal Wandale Robinson and you're going to add Zay Flowers? Do you have to add your 212 onto that maybe? Like something in that range is really enticing to me. How about Jonathan Taylor? Yeah, perfect. All these guys are great fits. Devontae Adams is like, there's so many different options for you here. Even Sutton is there. Or like a Sam Darnold, right? As your Sam Darnold could serve as your quarterback 3. So all those guys are really good fits for you. But I'm always going to lean on the side. You know, if you want to play it conservative, you can play it conservative. And like Tate is not a bad, he would be a great addition. But you guys know me. I'm always leaning on the side of like, how can I win the league? You know, how can I just make money? But yeah, let me know if you got any questions, dude. That's where I would take the team. And I appreciate you letting me look at it. He says, traded Brian Thomas in a second for that 102. That's a pretty good deal for you, honestly. I like Brian Thomas, but that's rich for his current market, I would say. Love the team, man. And this is another team where I don't feel a need to tear down off of Drake. Like, there will be a video that come out Monday. You can watch it. And, you know, of course, I'm always going to be open. If the Lamar Jackson owner, Jaden Daniels owner, you know, if these guys are willing to give me some ridiculous offer. Like, I've seen a lot of Jaden Daniels plus Devonta Smith type of deals for Drake May. Like, that one would make a lot of sense for you here, right? But yeah, man, let me know if you got any final questions here. You'll get your playbook within the next 3 to 4 business days. He says, you think there are any moves to move the 27 first for some running back depth? I thought about that, but I think you've got enough depth. You know, if Woody Marks was your RB3 and we weren't already trying to go acquire Taylor, Cook, Walker, you know, then yes, I would explore that. But right now, I don't think it's really, I don't think you need to use your assets in that way. You know, even if you're not able to acquire Walker, Taylor, Cook, and you add Tate, Swift and Monty are definitely well-equipped depth pieces to help you go win right now. So, yeah, man, appreciate you greatly. Thanks for letting me look at the squad. It's always fun having a look at your guys' teams here. Last thing I'll say for today's stream, if you have yet to join a LAN league, we'll definitely encourage you. Today is a great day to go sign up and be a part of one. If you want to become a LAN member, you get a fast track into the next LAN league. Okay, as many of you guys who are watching have done so. But very simple. Become a promo code LAN and you'll be a Flocker member. Not only will you get into the league, you'll get the team playbook, customized review of your team, the vouchers, all the insight, all the tools, Discord, etc. A couple other things. Go follow the Shorts channel if you haven't yet. I'll spam it in the chat here. I'm starting to release some short form content there. And then lastly, go follow the Fantasyland Football channel. I will be posting a video per week right now through the month of May. And I would love to have you guys a part of the journey as we get closer and closer to redraft season. But that's it for today. I appreciate all of y'all hanging out. My camera cannot keep up. Anyway, I appreciate you guys. I'll see y'all very soon. And for everybody who's already in a league, you can go enter the next drawing. We will raffle off any remaining spots on Sunday night. Deuces. See y'all soon. Nothing but love.